This is your announcer, Shannon Saint Mainframe, welcoming you to our IP Livecast. There were reports this week about high levels of fecal matter in the water at beaches. Robert would like to apologize to the people of America. Going forward, he will try to wait until after his beach trips to get McDonald's. Our IP Livecast starts now.
I actually, this is some fake news.
Oh.
And I always wait till after because I don't want to be swimming with a full stomach.
So how did the fecal matter get in the ocean then?
Well, I used the bathroom and then the sewers overflowed into the ocean.
Oh, I thought it was you. I'm sorry, I misunderstood the story. I thought you were flooding the Atlantic Ocean with toxic amounts.
I'm one of the millions of people that are apparently flooding the ocean. We're going to talk all about this. Welcome to RIP, a live cast where you get your Fecal Ocean news now.
That's a good band name.
Fecal Ocean?
Yeah.
That is not a bad
That's not bad
name.
Actually.
Good
And,
episode title, too.
Welcome to the show. It is Saturday, July 15th. We're live every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time for your early brunch, I guess, on the East Coast, or very early brunch on the West Coast.
Oh, I just got the vision of someone listening to RIP a livecast while eating some scrambled eggs on a high-end ciabatta bread or something.
Little mimosa on the
Mimosa. Mimosa or a tang mimosa, which sort of became a meme in my life at one point because I went on a cruise with my ex-wife. A cruise. It was from Coney Island to around Staten Island and back to the same port, and we did it kind of ironically, but it was kind of fun still also because we got to see the shoreline from the opposite direction, which you almost never
that's
see.
really fun.
And
I went like on a fishing trip like that. That's worth the whole trip, I think.
But so it was very like good for people watching. It was a lot of like 75, the same people that go to Roll and Roaster, but they had tang mimosas, and that was their
Roll and Roaster on the sea.
Yes, it was their big selling point was we have tang mimosas, and they advertised it in the cruise documentation. We have tang mimosas, not orange juice.
This is their signature.
But tang. So my ex-wife had a tang mimosa, and it was like a talking point for years and years.
Was it good?
It was, I think, she enjoys very ironic things. She's one of those people who loves, I had this great experience at this thing that was kind of cringy, but she said she loved it. She said she loved the tang mimosa.
Wow.
So there you have it.
It's a very easy thing. You could make at home.
Sure. But it's better when someone makes it for you.
I can only imagine the level of high quality sparkling wine used for that tang mimosa. It's probably just a notch above ginger ale, or just very fermented ginger ale.
Chateau Diana, I would guess, would be the one. That's the brand. If you don't know, if you're not from New York, there's like a mass marketed local brand of cheap wine that's in every supermarket called Chateau Diana. It's about $6 a bottle.
I never even noticed. Yeah.
You're too classy for that, Rob.
But it's not champagne, though. It is wine, just got to say.
I never really liked champagne. I never liked white wine. Okay, Phil.
White power.
There goes one listener.
Red wine, certain red wines I enjoy, especially like with like a nice Italian meal or a steak. I could see how that goes, but I really come to terms with the fact that I'm just not much of a drinker, folks. Unless it's a nice high-end tequila. No, thank you. Or, you know what's so funny now? It is kind of amazing to me how abundant hard seltzer is everywhere. They don't care. They just want your money because I feel like if hard seltzer was as abundant when I was 21, and the closest thing we had was Smirnoff Ice.
Or Zima.
Zima. Yeah. Oh, Zima tastes like Motorola.
When I was 21, Zima was already gone.
I liked it.
Or maybe not gone, but like so shat upon as a brand that it was impossible.
Yeah.
And Smirnoff Ice, the thing about it, the thing that separates Smirnoff Ice from a hard seltzer is it was loaded with sugar. So not only are you getting a bad malt liquor drunk, like a cheap Colt 45 drunk, you're also getting way too much sugar. So your level of dehydration accelerates. And
Sure.
I always just ended up getting a really bad headache. And so I was like,
Same.
fuck drinking.
It had the same
Uh,
effect on me as like a Monster Energy or something. Like you're just a
Yeah.
little bit of a high very briefly, and then you crash immediately.
Big time crash. Well, worse crash. And beer always tasted disgusting to me. Only now or there have I learned the type of beers that I could tolerate, and even still.
I
Not
never
chugging beers.
tolerated any beer. I just always hated the taste, but I drank it because my friends were there. I wanted to get buzzed or whatever. I just don't
Yeah.
like the effect that alcohol has on my body. I just realized.
Yeah.
Should
Ultimately,
we
that's kind
rebrand ourselves as a straight edge podcast?
I mean,
well, absolutely not, because I am still all about the ganja.
Don't just be quiet.
just don't hurt the brand.
I guess I'm what they call California sober.
Is that what that is? All right.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's like when people go to AA and they still smoke cigarettes and stuff, and but
I believe they encourage that.
yeah.
Well, like in the Metal Injection livecast days, it was me, the non-metal fan, and and the rest of my co-hosts were metalheads. And now, if we rebrand as a straight edge podcast, you could be the Sid of this version of the show.
Now we just have to find something that I don't do, and the two of you can do that thing, and then
Seafood.
Yeah, we
Oh
like shrimp.
yeah, nailed it.
There we go.
I do eat
Or
tuna
shrimp
salad
edge.
though. Is that killing?
That doesn't. We'll exclude that. That's fine.
Okay. And I can eat seafood if it's drenched in mayonnaise, so that I can't taste what it tastes like.
I'll eat it that way too.
Yeah, I'll take it that way.
So you'll have like a shrimp salad sandwich also, or no?
No, shrimp somehow comes through the mayonnaise veil somehow. I don't know how.
The texture of shrimp that you don't like. You've mentioned.
No, I also don't like the taste though. But I have given, like I've said, I'm a fair food hater. I've tried everything that I hate.
What about imitation crab? Have we discussed this?
I have had imitation. In fact, I had imitation crab about a week ago. I was trying because I'm trying to try different types of rolls at sushi restaurants because I only get one fucking roll every time. It's a chicken tempura roll. It's delicious, but I'm sick of it, and I want not sick of it. I'm not sick of it. I want variety, and I try other things. So I've tried things that don't have fish, and that was one of them. So I had imitation crab. I wasn't crazy about it, but I wouldn't hate it. But they didn't hate it.
Have you had a con salad?
No, what's that?
Which would be imitation crab and it's like shredded imitation crab and shredded cucumber, and then mayo kind of mixed up.
I think I would need more protein in there. I don't like salad without major chunks of chicken or something inside of it.
Well, the crab is the protein.
But that's imitation. Like, what is it really made out of? Is it
Fish.
Really fish?
Yeah,
really?
Was made of.
I thought it was non-seafood, and that's why it's fake.
No, it's absolutely seafood. It's
I thought it was like
just like some cheaper.
I thought it was
it's a
synthetic
cheaper white
non-meat, whatever.
No,
okay.
It's fish.
I've had whitefish salad that I kind of like too.
Yeah, I would say you could. How do you feel about lox? Do you like smoked salmon?
The smell repulses me before.
How about salmon in general? Like cooked salmon?
Not really. I've had salmon, like salmon salad, thinking it was whitefish salad by accident, and almost threw up. I don't like.
Maybe
salmon.
like branch out from like the chicken tempura roll. You could get a salmon tempura roll. You could get a shrimp tempura roll.
Yeah.
Why are you guys like seafood pushers here?
You're the one saying you're trying to branch out.
No, I'm trying to branch out to other things that aren't seafood.
I interpreted it as raw that aren't raw seafood.
Oh no, I'm trying to have other options at the sushi restaurant that aren't fish.
Yeah, I've kind of broken through like the other way. Like for me, previously, when I started on my sushi journey.
Jesus Christ.
I would typically like, the very basic bitch American rolls like California roll, shrimp tempura roll,
spicy tuna.
No, I never really liked the tuna. I never really liked the tuna rolls in the sushi variety. So it'd be either salmon or shrimp or crab. So I'd be very limited. And typically it's cooked, or like a deep fried roll. Oh my God. Do you remember that from the place, the So Cold Today place that we would order from?
Yeah.
But
deep
as we've moved on, I've started eating more raw stuff, and now I like the last time I went, I got a sashimi platter, and it was so good.
I still don't do the sashimi because I like having the rice paired with the fish. I don't just want pieces of fish.
Here's my tip for you, Sid. Get a side of sushi rice. So then I would dip the sashimi in a little bit of soy, and then like put it on
But
top of
why,
the
when
rice
they
and have
could
it
just
together.
pair it with the rice for you. It's not like there's a price difference. I find sometimes the sashimi is more expensive, even though the piece of fish isn't bigger than if you just got it as a sushi.
When I went, see, I agree with you, Sid. You do have to start thinking about the financial aspects of it. And the place that I went to, it made more sense financially to get this sashimi dinner than the sushi dinner.
You just flew to Jupiter to watch an AEW show. Why are you fucking around with like cheaping out on sushi?
It's not about cheaping out. It's about getting the most value for your payment.
I see.
It's not at all about.
There's
like,
also
cheap
the
on it.
chirashi. Have you ever done that, Rob?
Oh,
Do you
what's
know what
this?
that is?
What's this?
That's
What's this?
like, it's sort of like, it's halfway between what we're each saying here. It is a bowl with sushi rice as the base, and then all the pieces of sashimi thrown on top.
Oh yeah, I have done that. But also, so that's kind of how I got started on the more elevated sushi, is through poke bowls, which is a very similar concept. It's essentially a burrito bowl, but of like deconstructed sushi, essentially.
I had that for lunch yesterday.
It's very good, and that's absolutely how I started on this trend. And I went to a high end place called an omakase restaurant, and that's sort of like where you don't even pick.
Yeah, the
chef just brings you out the freshest fish that literally was flown in from Japan that day. So that's
how much did that cost? Speaking of finances,
how many AEW trips was this?
it cost the equivalent of a ticket to AEW. I think per person it's like between $75 to $100. But
okay, and that's not that expensive for omakase.
Yeah.
Most of those
Well,
places
it varied, but this place is really
But that's
good.
not all he got. I mean, I'm assuming the bill came out probably to like $200 or something, because you have to have a drink, you have to have side dishes, right?
No, you don't have to. Like, we did get some appetizers. Yeah, it ends up being about another $30 or so with like appetizers and drink. But again, I'm not getting cocktails. I'm just getting like a large sparkling water or something. But the point I was trying to make is when I had the omakase, it forced me to try all these different types of fish that I would never go out of my way. And this is like the freshest, best version of that fish. And that's when I was like, oh, I could get into these flavor notes. So if you're trying to get more into sushi, seek out an omakase restaurant.
The issue I have with those though is like, unless you're at the restaurant and you have like a waiter pointing out what kind of fish each thing is. Like when I order that kind of stuff from like just a Japanese restaurant delivery, I just get like a container with a bunch of different pieces of fish.
Right.
And like I could recognize what the salmon and the tuna are, but the rest I have no idea. So I eat them.
Shove it in.
Yeah, but like I don't know. Oh, that was the yellowtail that I had. That was very good.
That's the next step on your sushi journey.
Exactly. You got to get further on your journey.
I could just add a note to my order saying, "Please label the fish."
Yeah, like I'm sure they'll roll their eyes and get right in your fucking food. I was about to say something really stupid too. I was about to go just because I feel like this is such a hangout when I talk to you. I was going to go listen to Rob talking about his journey like we're on a podcast or something. And I was like, oh, we are on a podcast. Whoops. I just imagine this whole conversation with the three of us, like a Japanese person in Osaka listening to this or something. And they must view this conversation the way we view deep dish pizza as being affront to like sensibilities.
I would love. It is on my goals to make it out and have like legit sushi at like one of those tiny hole in the wall places in Japan. I want to just have it all day, every day.
It costs
G1
like $500 and have a 3-year waiting list.
Sure, but even the ones that don't, that you just, it's like, $5 or whatever. You just walk in. I'm sure it's just as good.
Sure,
it's like pizza here. I mean, not just as good, but it's almost as good, I would say.
Maybe they have G1 themed specials when you go out in the summer. You go to Japan, they want to hook in all the G1 Climax fans.
I might. I keep saying I want to do it. Maybe next year.
Can you get flown out for that for your column?
I haven't figured that out yet, but if I could, I will absolutely take advantage of that.
Seriously, that's
slightly. The next step on your free mooching journey of
everything's a journey. Don't stop
Well,
believing, Rob.
let's talk about the beach news that Shannon talked about.
The doo-doo.
Which bothered me, and it's I want to mention this is something that I've already considered because there is a Twitter account which I very much appreciate called the New York City Sewer Bot. Let me pull it up.
Which is also your grinder name, isn't it?
I ain't no bot, honey.
Sewer butt.
It's the NYC combined. So combined sewer is the Twitter handle. And basically it automates when there is sewer overflow. And it tells you which of the, sewage systems overflow and which body of water they overflow into. And of course, I'm by Coney Island Beach, and Coney Island Beach has a creek, the Coney Island Creek, which is, where is it? It's like somewhere over here. This is it. And so anytime that creek overflows, I didn't really take this into consideration until I started looking into it. And it's essentially, look, the shit is going into the ocean. The shit that is in our sewer system overflows. Where does it go? It goes to the ocean. And I mean, it's not like the one thing, our oceans are all connected. Our bodies of water, unless it's a lake, they're all connected. Even the lakes, through condensation, all that water gets redistributed.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Wizard.
You're welcome. And I like to go swimming in the summer virtually every morning.
Do you have a backup beach?
Yeah. So in my head, the way I rationalized it is instead of going to Coney Island, which is right by, not right by the creek, but I would say half a mile, less than a mile from the creek, I will go to the very end of Brighton Beach, which adds another 2 miles. And in my head, that's enough for the shit doesn't get there in time.
But that's still basically the same beach.
But it's another 2 miles. It takes a little longer for the shit to pass that way.
I guess, but when did it start its journey?
The night before. So
that's probably
overnight,
covered the whole space already.
Overnight there was it's fine. It's fine. Water did, and the thing is, and I do, where would I go?
There's beaches by the Bronx, there's beaches Long Island,
that's too far.
I get.
I don't want to spend an hour in the car for swimming for half an hour.
You'd rather get a little shitty.
Yeah. So that's how I rationalize it to myself. And then this story had to come along and ruin all my fun. So here's the version from the highly reputable newspaper Staten Island Live.
Oh, boy.
So they write, with summer in full swing and much of the country experiencing its warmest weather in years, millions of Americans have been cooling off in the waters of their favorite local beaches, including myself. What many of the beachgoers may not know is that there is a greater than 50% chance that the water they're wading in could be contaminated with fecal matter. Okay, so there's a greater than 50% chance. There's a chance.
You're really fishing for stuff. If your positive news is there's only 50% chance
there's only
swimming in shit.
There's only a greater than 50% chance. A new report from Environment America found that 55% of beaches nationwide tested positive for potentially unsafe levels of fecal matter contamination.
You're good.
On at least one day last year. So only one day was
at
there.
least.
At least.
Up to 100.
It'll be fine.
More than 10% of all beaches, 363 across the country, were found to have unsafe levels of fecal contamination on at least 25% of days tested. Jeez. On a regional basis, the water's off the...
And if this is newsworthy in Staten Island, a borough basically built on top of a mountain of feces, and they still think this is something to warn people about.
Well, no, it's because it was a national report that came out.
Yeah, but that clearly people in Staten Island still thought was newsworthy.
There's beaches. It's because they think they can get clicks out of it. Relax. Hold on. On a regional
basis, clickbait is rich.
Who would know better? On a regional basis, the waters off the Gulf Coast were found to be the nation's biggest offenders. There we go. Gulf Coast. That's so far.
Fine.
With
That's fine.
84% of beaches testing positive for unsafe levels of fecal contamination on at least one day in 2022, followed by the West Coast, the Great Lakes, and the East Coast only at 48%, so less than 50%.
Wow, that changes
and
everything.
Might as well be the purest water of them all.
And Alaska and Hawaii, 24%. The report further breaks down the data to state-by-state level, allowing residents to identify the local beaches they may want to avoid in the summer. Now, this is back to what we were talking about. What does it matter if one beach has more? Like, they're ultimately all contaminated. If one has it, it's going to get to all of them.
Is that true though? Is there some threshold where the shit like just can't travel as far?
Maybe.
Yeah,
I guess that's true. On New York,
RIP, by the way, stands for Rob in Poop Water, and it also stands for rest in peace for when Rob dies of feces poisoning.
Sure.
Rest in pieces of shit.
Rest in pieces of feces. In New York, 198 of the 344 beaches, representing roughly 58%, were found to have potentially unsafe.
You're so hung up on that potential.
Yeah.
I know it's in there strictly for legal reasons because they can't just say unsafe because then it could be contested. So it's like saying allegedly.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am lying to myself, and let me do it. Jesus, be a good
you're
friend.
Like 87% made of shit right now.
I'm fully admitting. Well, for other reasons.
Wait,
what? I just had McDonald's for. Anyway, in New York, 58% were found to have potentially unsafe levels of contamination on at least one day, with 12% testing positive on at least the quarter of the days tested. Jesus. Both of which were slightly above the national averages. The following 10 beaches had the highest number of days testing positive in New York for potentially unsafe levels of fecal contamination in 2022. All right.
Now, can I break in and ask a question here as an investigative journalist? Now, I can process without having any data that swimming in shit is bad, like broadly speaking. But I'm curious, what actually happens to you that's, say, unsafe if you swim in shit? What are the actual toxic effects of swimming?
Third butt cheek.
Good question. I will before we get to that. I just want to finish this thought, which is the 10 beaches that had the highest testing were all on Long Island. Which I mean, we're on Long Island. We're on the tip of it, but yeah. So the worst one was in Monroe County, Ontario Beach. Then there's Suffolk County, Erie County, Suffolk County again, Suffolk, Erie, Nassau, and then Niagara County. The closest beach.
Wait, that waterfall is made of shit?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? I always knew I hated that fucking thing. Sid, you hate waterfalls.
I'm just not impressed by them now. I might actually be more impressed now knowing that they're raining shit down on people.
Now you can say they're literally shitty, and you'd be right.
They even have. So on this thing, they have like a breakdown on the original report. They have a breakdown per beach. And let's see. So where would be like right here? 0%. Look, see, it's white. 0%. We're good.
Where? I don't know what you're pointing at.
Sorry. Hold on.
Got to enhance.
Here's the.
I see yellow, which means there's at least piss.
Less than 25%. Yeah, it could be. It's fine. But yeah, let's see.
Is there a thing you could do so you could do this testing yourself on a day-to-day basis when you go in the water?
There is a part in this.
You got to walk around with a fucking EPT and dipping it in the water.
Yeah. In this Staten Island article.
Brown.
Yeah. In the Staten Island article, it notes that some students at Monsignor Farrell High School.
Monsignor.
Monsignor.
Okay.
They're touring with Meshuggah.
They conducted a study over the summer, and they said that they did so. None of the borough's beaches made the list in Staten Island, And in 2021, the students at the Marine Biology Society collected samples from 2 Staten Island beaches and found that the beaches were safe for everyone to swim in. The study measured fecal pollution in the water off Oakwood Beach and Great Kills Beach, showed that over 6 months, the water quality was usually
so many
safe for swimming.
qualifiers in this fucking article.
But at times, typically after heavy rains, it was not. So it seems pretty.
So you're going to go to Staten Island now for your beaching?
Just when it rains, I wouldn't go.
When I'm reading an article about whether my swimming water has toxic crap in it, I don't want to hear at times, usually, perhaps 47% chance. That's a red flag to me. Brown flag to stay out of the fucking water.
So they would just say it would be safe, but there would be large spikes in the contaminants after heavy rain. So you just want to avoid after heavy rain for a few days going to the beach is what the summation was. Because after that, it dissipates, as we've discussed. Now, to answer your previous question, in this report, it says swimming in contaminated water can cause gastrointestinal illness, as well as respiratory disease, ear and eye infection, and skin rash.
Oh, that doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah. Each year, I mean, I get all of those just from having Taco Bell, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's how the shit gets in the water in the first place. Is gastrointestinal problems.
Each year, there are an estimated 57 million cases of an illness in the United States, resulting from swimming in oceans, lakes, rivers, and ponds. The vast majority of these illnesses go unreported. Contaminated water can also trigger health warnings or closures that interfere with our ability to enjoy the beach. Oh, well, that's fine.
I mean, just the thought of shit in the water is interfering with your ability to enjoy the beach even when you're there.
Sure. You know, this.
But I would say the Coney Island and the Brighton beaches, they're pretty clean. Other than the people polluting.
Again, pretty clean. Always a qualifier every time.
Well, like today, it was certainly a little saltier because there was some rain last night.
Oh no, it's salt, so you tasted it. Oh,
any chunks floating around you?
No chunks, but it was fine.
You know,
corn kernels,
little red pepper flakes. I had some of those in my food. Last night, my shit. I mean. And my food. It was in my food. And then
oh my god, this is more disgusting than swimming in shit.
Red pepper flakes is disgusting.
Some of that spicy water.
You know, we talk about shit on this show a lot, but I realized I had like a shower moment the other day, and I just realized that shit is it's the whole system, the way it works, is like so inefficient. I feel like should be the biggest red flag, let's say, that this was not intelligently designed by anybody. Like
what in particular?
Just
you
the
mean
fact
our
that
body system or the sewage system?
Our body system.
Okay.
Our body system, because just the fact that you have to eliminate this disgusting, foul-smelling, toxic crap, literally.
Yeah.
And if let's say we weren't evolved into the species that we are now, you just live in the wild. You got to find a place to bury it. You got to live away from your shit so that predators don't find you. And it's just so disgusting. Like if it was,
but it's literally every animal. It's not like
but like,
why
can't we just sweat it out or something?
Yes, exactly. Now I understand from an evolutionary standpoint, it's kind of amazing that this shit just happened. You know,
literally,
just like over the years, and it's the best way it could have happened. But the fact that people think God woke up and like designed this.
God is German.
Ridiculous system, like I don't know, that confirms my atheism.
Oh, and the other thing about it too is how the body the shit is different depending on the input. The output is based on the input.
Exactly.
Whereas, like with cars, you put in gas, you get the carbon monoxide pumped out. It's the same thing no matter what.
It's God. Why couldn't it come out with a little gift wrapped little box? You poop it in your hand and you just fucking discard it somewhere.
Or like, why have poop?
Right.
Why did God give us poop?
Yes. Why can't
God give us our poop?
Why can't the food we eat that's in our environment just be perfectly suited to our body and there's no waste?
Why can't the food that we eat be perfectly suited so there is no waste?
Was it Joan Osborne?
Yeah.
Oh, God. That's the trajectory of our show. We went from Ozzy Osbourne to now Joan Osborne.
Yes.
What if poop was one of us?
Well,
Just a stranger in Rob's swimming area, trying to go down his throat.
oh,
Can I change my song pick? Joan Osborne, everybody, on the Livecast.
can anyone name a second Joan Osborne song? I cannot.
Goodbye. I'm
Crazy
just gonna
Train?
guess. Something obvious. Goodbye. I bet she has a song named Goodbye. Look it up. That'd
I'll
be so
just take
cool
your
if
word
I'm
for
right.
it.
No, I have no idea. I just guessed probably the most cliched song title. Did she ever? I mean, did she have another single even?
She must have. Usually, if you have a hit single, you get a chance to have a second one, right?
Unless
Whether
you
it
get hit by a
succeeds
car
or
or
not.
something. Maybe she swam in some shit water right after that song came out.
Saint Teresa, Right Hand Man, Heat Wave.
I don't know any
These
of
are
that.
some of her
Yeah.
Heat Waves is a cover of the famous Motown song Heat Wave or a different song?
You're asking the wrong person.
Maybe you're looking right at the screen though with the information. That's why I'm asking.
There's no indication on it if it's a cover or. She does have a song, "Kiss and Say Goodbye." Derek.
That's
there
what
you go, that
what I
counts.
was thinking of. That's the deep cut that I meant. Sorry, I didn't give the full title.
It is a deep cut. There's no music video. It comes from the album "Breakfast in Bed."
I'm such a fan of Joan Osborne that I just shortened the song titles. That's what I do. It was part of the Joan Osborne
heads
online
now.
discussion group that I'm in. Yes, she was pretty attractive though. I'd say I was a fan of her looks, if I
Really?
remember correctly. Yeah, nice red hair, right?
She was no Jewel.
Oh no, Jewel is the cream of the crop, but that's not a fair standard.
I don't know. Joan Osborne never did it for me.
Let's see. I'll see if I'll reevaluate. I'm going on
Rob.
probably a 25-year-old. No, she's older. I'm talking about like when she find a picture when she was like.
There's the one with her
What
mouth
year?
gaping open.
Oh yeah. Baby.
Oh, these
Nah,
are very
she's-
inappropriate.
I find her attractive. I'll say she's an attractive woman. I mean, she's a little older now, but still a handsome woman.
I mean, we all are.
right?
She looks like a more
picture's
attractive Rachel
there.
Doziel or whatever her name was.
Dolezal? I could see that.
Dolezal.
She wasn't unattractive. She's a weird person. She's a. She was. Can we separate
I'm
what
not
she
saying
did?
I'm not saying she's unattractive. I'm just saying Joan
that's-
Osborne is more attractive.
I
Like she has more of the like facial structure that would be.
I mean,
associated with beauty.
also, if all the things you could do, is Rachel Dolezal really the worst thing? I mean,
No, it's just
loved
weird.
she loved black culture so much she tried to emulate it. I don't think she did anything. I could see why it would be hurtful to some people, but I don't think. Like,
It's just an easy thing to make fun of.
yes, agreed.
Is all.
I watched that documentary on her, kind of like gave me more of a perspective on her position. I think
was this
I made-
on Max?
I can't remember. It was years ago, but it
BET.
no, definitely not. But it gave her. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was BET. I don't
Fox
think-
Nation. I believe
No,
any-
it's definitely not Fox Nation because
outlet.
it was somewhat flattering of her. Like it.
Oh, really?
It not flattering might be the wrong word, but it was not overly negative.
Sympathetic,
towards her.
you mean.
Yes, it was even-handed. I would say, kind of
Mhm.
called out the negative aspects, but she talked through the whole thing and gave interviews and gave her feelings, and it sort of fleshed out what she was thinking, and I think made me more sympathetic. to
Now,
her.
what color was that flesh?
Very light,
Oh.
somewhat like all of ours, except Rob's fucking tan as fuck.
That's what happens when you hit the beach.
It's from all that
Boy.
feces coloring your skin.
It's a great tanning solution.
Oh.
So the big story this week is the Screen Actors Guild is now also on strike, joining
Good
the
for
Writers Guild.
Yep.
And I feel like you don't want a group of people whose job it is to be expert communicators to be the ones on the opposite end of your strike.
Counterpoint: some of them really suck at it, and
Yeah,
produce
they need the
shitty
writers.
entertainment. Right.
Well,
So now they're
What-
united, at least the writers and the
yes.
mouthpieces. or as one.
Well, one person who I don't
Hopefully.
think needs a writer to write his promos is Ron Perlman. I shared this in the Discord. This is why you need to join our Discord, folks. It's free. Go to riplivecast.com. The link is there. It's a chat. We share links all week long and lots of discussion with fellow livecasters. And we share this, and I forget who I think, Darren, it might have been you that said it. Like, this was like the Mark B promo, but
Yeah.
like elevated.
100%.
So can we hear some of that Mark B promo?
Yeah.
Do you have some of it?
I have the
It was
Two guys enter, one guy leaves, and I promise you, Clarence, motherfucker, it won't be you.
that was it.
the context was that he was on a train and somebody got on the train.
No. This was a different. I think he was
is the second
reacting to
video.
some news report
Oh,
about like a Klan rally or something that was going to be happening in Manhattan.
I have the full video if you'd like me to play just the opening
Sure.
minute or so. It's 5
yes,
minutes long.
absolutely.
Okay.
It's absolutely worth.
Oh, I don't have it. I just have clips. I'm sorry. I kind of oversold that.
Ah,
But yeah, Sid is right. Sid is right. I can get it if you give me a minute, but it's not queued up.
Sure. Well, I could play the Ron Perlman thing for now because
Okay.
this was like, how could you not be on the actor's side after this line from Ron Perlman, who of course is the actor who played Hellboy previously, not the
Sons of
current
Anarchy,
Hellboy.
Beauty and the Beast,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main one. I first discovered him from Beauty and the Beast.
Mhm. the TV show, not the
Right.
Disney movie.
So here we go. Here's his
Do
promo.
one thing before I get off this. The mother
I just love all the birds chirping in the background. It's such a serene thing compared to like what he's saying now.
before I get off this. The motherfucker who said we're gonna keep this thing going until people start losing their houses and their apartments. Listen to me, motherfucker. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. Some of it is financial, some of it is karma, and some of it is just figuring out who the fuck said that. And we know who said that. And where he fucking lives. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. You wish that on people. You wish that families starve while you're making $27 fucking million a year for creating nothing. Be careful, motherfucker. Be really careful.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of shit that stirs shit up. Peace out.
Peace out.
Best threat I've ever heard without directly making
Didn't
a
he
threat.
then immediately have to retract it though?
Did he?
I think so. I think I saw something about he was like, we're not actually gonna burn anyone's house down.
Oh, who thought he was actually going to burn
Well-
someone's house? I thought it was metaphorical. Like we're
Sure.
going to come after you
Come after you how though?
at the
There's many
negotiating
ways to
table.
learn to lose your house, and we know who you are, and we can find out where you live. Like,
But
and do
what
what?
I love, I think you know what? If I was Hollywood executives, I'd be shitting my pants at that video because I think this is the first of many. The
thing,
longer
though-
they stretch this out, and what he was referring to, by the way, was there was a report in Deadline, which is the gossip sheet of Hollywood, that an unnamed Hollywood executive was saying that they're not negotiating. They want to starve out the writers until they lose their homes and their apartments, where they would be so desperate to negotiate that only then will they be willing to get to the table. They are the table.
I have found this video, by the way. If you
Oh, great. Now let's hear
believe this is
the
it.
99-cent store version of this Ron Perlman promo.
There it is.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm standing outside my apartment.
I gotta cue it up. This is not. It's not in the beginning. Hold on. There it is.
Number 2,
Number 2. We're talking about that already.
to the asshole Klansmen who were interviewed on Channel 7 only a couple of days ago, saying that they want to come to New York and shoot all of us Jews and all of us ends and what have you.
And
Be my guest, but put down the damn gun. You
yeah,
want to find out what a man is? You come at me with this. Because I promise you,
Fist.
you will not last 5 seconds in my town. So let's
Yeah.
be honest here. Okay, they're not coming. They're a bunch of cowards. But if they ever do, come to Coney Island. Meet me on Coney Island Beach. 2 guys enter, 1 guy leaves, and I promise you, Clarence, motherfucker, it won't be you.
Why
Now,
does it have to be at the beach?
regardless to my wife.
Oh, this is different.
Regardless to
different
my wife.
Yeah, he's mixed 2 different things there.
How's he doing? No updates lately?
I haven't everything. Like, he posts a video probably every 3 weeks or so, something like that, once a month. But it's all like hockey stuff and like nothing juicy like this.
No hot takes on the Mets or Yankees?
Yeah, once in a while, but not. It's not that. Like, believe me, I'm looking. Like, I'm trying to get
tepid takes.
Yeah, it's like tepid takes. He's trying to be like Chris Russo, kind of. It's not working out. Like, he's just be himself. You know what I mean? And also, like, a lot of it is just stuff that doesn't play on the show. It's like his inside drama with people, and you know, some of that's good, by the way. Like, in the past, what he's about to say, where I just paused it, is about like people shitting on his wife and him getting mad about it.
Was that at the beach too?
Yeah, you guys are shitting on my wife, and it's going in the ocean.
That's how it all started, Rob. You see?
Oh,
just for people
taking
hot dumps on Mark B's wife.
If it was him, I'd believe it'd be enough
Oh,
shit to go in the ocean.
I do love. I went to see what videos he has, and I love this like wall of thumbnails where it's just all the same picture in different poses, basically.
Except one Grinch and a C-3PO.
He's getting bigger.
That's R2D2. Come on, Sid.
Look at that one in the 5th row, bottom row. From my perspective, anyway, second from the left. He's like, "What is this bullshit?" Look at that smirk. Look at that. You see that number 1149? Go left.
1149.
Yeah, this.
Look at that face. It's like, are you really watching this video? What's wrong with you? Fuck out of here.
That's when his wife tried to give him white rice with his arroz con condules.
Yeah, it don't fucking match.
And he said, "Listen, motherfucker."
Lucky he's still breathing.
It don't fucking match. You lucky you're still breathing. Fuck out of here.
I clipped out some Ron Perlman, so whenever we have a duel or something, we could play the "Listen, motherfucker."
Yeah, and you could go side by side with this.
Fuck out of here! I want to know what the emergency is.
Now, how would she react if traffic was backed up because the actors were picketing?
Oh no, she's union strong, I think.
Well, let's not assume anything.
Fucking tyrants!
Take that, Netflix.
Bunch of fucking clowns in costumes.
A pleasant woman.
And pretty soon, I think at the end of the month, the UPS workers are going on strike.
Good, everybody strike. Fuck all these people.
They're negotiating their contract, and can you imagine what the solidarity lines are going to be looking like when all these different fields are on strike? I think this might be a tipping point in terms of people not.
I hope you're right.
Taking shit.
I don't think it is, but I hope you're right. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you're right. I think people are too beaten down and afraid of cops and everything. Would rightfully so, not judging anybody, but it's just too much power concentrated in one part and none at all concentrated. It's not like the 60s and 70s where there was like, you know, there was no real political left then, but there was some left organization that could like make these people a little bit fucking scared, you know, to overreach. And now there's just not any at all.
Yeah, and from what I heard on the news like a couple days ago, I don't think the UPS stuff, it seems like they're at least negotiating. So I don't know how likely an actual strike is with that one.
And Rob, I'm sorry, and I apologize for like dampening your enthusiasm. I don't mean to do that.
Oh, no.
I have a very bleak outlook on this.
No, I was merely distracted by a related story in a bunch of this Ron Perlman video.
Oh.
Where it's from the New York Post, so I had a little trepidation, so that's why I had to read it. That's what was going on. I was like reading. So the headline is RFK Jr. says COVID was ethnically targeted to spare Jews.
What?
I don't know about that. There's a lot of bullshit, and I don't agree with RFK about every single thing. There's a lot of bullshit written about him that he's a.
Well, here's the quote. This is a quote. It looks like there's video here, but I haven't watched it. I just read it. So let's see if we can hear this.
And we have to listen to this guy's voice.
The level, I know a lot now about bioweapons because I've been doing a book on it for the past 2.5 years, and you know, the technology that we now have to develop these microbes, we've put hundreds of millions of dollars into ethnically targeted microbes. The Chinese have done the same thing. In fact, COVID-19, there's an argument that it is ethnically targeted. COVID-19 attacked certain races disproportionately. The races that are most immune to COVID-19 are because of the structure of the genetic structure, genetic differentials among different races of the receptors of the ACE2 receptor. COVID-19 is targeted to attack Caucasians and black people. The people who are most immune are Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese. But we don't know whether it was deliberate.
So Darren, I don't know.
Wait, hold on. He's giving like a disclaimer though. Like, can we at least let him defend what he's saying?
Okay.
He's saying like, I don't know that blah 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 blah. Let's at least let him defend.
Deliberately targeted that or not, but there are papers out there that show the racial and ethnic differential impact to that. We do know that the Chinese are spending hundreds of millions of dollars developing ethnic bioweapons, and we are developing ethnic bioweapons. That's what all of those labs in the Ukraine are.
So we heard that.
It sounds like he's been targeted by a bioweapon. Why does he? Do we know why he sounds like that?
I thought he had like a throat cancer or something.
Yeah.
Currently?
It is the guy behind him.
He had something that damaged his vocal cords.
It was funny watching this guy behind him just be like, "What are you saying, bro?" This whole time.
I don't think any of that was that crazy. I don't think he's saying like Jews have a cabal that made tried to kill non-Jews. I think that's how it's being reported here. I think he's.
So what is he saying here?
He's saying that
he's saying
that COVID-19 was manufactured in a lab, which shouldn't say manufactured. It was like as an existing virus that they engineered to be more potent, which we pretty much know to be true now. Then he's saying that the bioweapons that the U.S. and China are both working on to counteract each other for potential chemical warfare or whatever, they can be targeted towards certain races and make them people more susceptible by certain races. He dismisses that next step and said, I don't know, but there's people arguing that. So I don't know. I don't think that was like a pun not intended, full-throated defense of this theory. Is what I'm saying, but I do think.
But why mention the theory then if you're not?
He's like, we're seeing 5 minutes of that. I don't want to come off like I'm an RFK voter. I'm not voting for him, but like I feel like we're seeing 5 minutes of a conversation here, and we're not seeing what somebody asked him and how this came up in the first. Like if you snip 5 minutes out of this show,
oh my god,
very embarrassing things that we're saying.
That's fair.
With more pleasant voices, true, but
yeah, that's a low bar. Jesus.
But listen, I'm always in favor of skepticism of stuff. There are times that it goes too far, but I am 100% in favor of being skeptical of governments working on viruses. Okay, let me just put that out there. I'm fine with that. Be skeptical. Don't bring the Jews into it. Probably not a great idea. But again,
yeah, and also it's interesting that it's just Ashkenazi Jews, Sephardic Jews, still susceptible.
He's to me
that I'm okay with.
I think. Listen,
yeah, we're good.
This is my elevator pitch to summarize RFK Jr. He's a good guy who did a lot of good things in his career. He's an environmental lawyer. I think he has a noble belief system, but I think he's a lot like Trump and Kanye West in the sense that, and Joe Rogan, in the sense that the last thing he heard 60 seconds ago is the most important thing in the world, and he's got to tell you about it. And there may be a slight vetting problem there. And some of the things that he gets behind are not really that accurate. But I think I think he's I don't think he's like intentionally trying to project, like to put out conspiracy theories. I think he's a skeptical person, and I relate to that aspect of RFK Jr.
Has he weighed in on all the QAnon stuff since his relatives play very prominently into all that conspiracy?
I don't know.
Has there been any crossover?
I don't follow RFK Jr. news that much. I do kind of like, you know what it is? Sort of a red flag goes up in my mind because a lot of the people that I despise the most politically are all like combining from different factions to attack RFK Jr. So my immediate first knee-jerk reaction is to be sympathetic. But then I look into it and I find things to disagree with him.
All the worst people are getting behind him as well. Like
who?
Steve Bannon, Alex Jones.
I don't know about Steve Bannon. Alex Jones, I feel like just anyone who says anything, you know, that remotely sounds conspiratorial, he will get behind them. But yeah, again, like
I will say I am not a supporter of RFK Jr. There were some things early on in his bid for presidency that he has said that I agreed with, that I was stunned how much I agree with this person I do not support. Like like he is against the war in Ukraine.
Right.
He's for helping out the middle class and taxing the rich.
Medicare for all.
Is he for Medicare for all?
Yeah,
that was one of the things that I thought. Like,
is he not?
He's for the CIA.
Oh, yeah, that I don't know about. So I don't. You might.
Yeah,
be right
then he's and
if he's for the CIA, he's definitely.
I mean, he's still a Kennedy. Behind everything else, he's
but
still.
Didn't the CIA blast his uncle though?
Well, that's another conspiracy I'd like him to weigh in on. He might know more than us.
But then, like, honestly, when he totally lost me was when he did that shoot at Muscle Beach about how much better shape he was than our current president. And
Wait,
like
was
shirtless?
Was he a judge on Hulk Hogan's bikini contest? Is that where you lost him? He lost you?
At least we know he didn't sing karaoke at that.
That's where he met Cheryl Hines, actually, at that bikini. She was
in the
bikini contest.
Oh, okay.
And that's so wild to me that he's married to Cheryl Hines.
Really
that like him and Larry David are in the same social circles. Like,
there's no way Larry David could put up with that dude's voice for more than 5 minutes before he either says something about it or has to leave.
The conversation would be about the voice. Well, I think Larry David, the TV character, the whole conversation would be about the voice. But Larry David, in real life, would probably feel the same, but just bow out
and then put it in an episode instead.
Yes.
Has there been an episode where Larry meets somebody with a really grating voice?
Well, the thing is, I think his voice has only been like this for like a year or 18 months or so.
Oh, really? It's that?
Right?
Oh,
really?
I think.
Wow.
Maybe I'm wrong. That's what I remember.
No, I heard it was. I saw some interview with him, or a clip of an interview where he said he had it for. He's had it for a while.
I thought he had the problem for a while, but the voice was recent. But listen, feel free to correct me.
I don't follow him that closely, but Larry David was quoted recently. Well,
I remember this. Yeah.
And so, because, Larry is, of course, friends with Cheryl, and someone asked him if he is supporting the RFK bid for presidency. Speaking to the New York Times for a profile of Hines, the son of Robert Kennedy and nephew of John F. Kennedy, said of his campaign for the White House, "I have a lot of support and love from most of her friends, including Larry. That might lead one to believe David was backing Kennedy's candidacy, but the Curb creator would like to disabuse people of the notion." In a text to the New York Times, he wrote, "Yes, love and support, but I am not, quote, supporting him."
Yeah.
Very Larry David framing.
I love that. Like, yeah, love and support, but
he's a good guy. He shouldn't be president. He's a good guy, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't vote for him. I'm supporting Cornel West now that he's officially running in the race, but RFK would be better than either of one of the two guys that's going to win, for sure. That doesn't mean
I will support Cornel West if anyone can produce a picture of him wearing a second outfit.
Well, that's good though. Don't you want that in the president? That he
That
doesn't,
only has one outfit?
he doesn't spend time thinking about what to wear today.
He
He's thinking
spent
about
so
the
much
problems of
time
the
that he's
world.
perfected this one thing. That's weird to me. I need to see a picture of him wearing anything other than the uniform that he is always seen in. It's weird to me that
I
that's
think he's
is it one suit that he cleans every day, or is it a
No,
closet
he has
full
to
of
have
straight?
multiple
it's
suits.
like Run DMC thing.
Yeah.
I think it has to be
Well,
like
look. Sorry, here he's wearing a white shirt. Here, a black. Oh no, it's still
I
a
don't
white
know. He's
shirt.
just
Damn it.
leaning. No, it's still
I think he's doing the Jason Mantzoukas principle, which I've heard him discuss many times in interviews, which is that if you ever see him in public, he only wears a white button-down white shirt, dress shirt. And unless he's playing a character in a movie, whatever, but just to see him in a public appearance or a comedy show, or something, white button-down shirt and same pants. And he said it's because that's one thing I don't have to put mental energy towards every day. I got no choice to make.
Well,
this is a big thing of like high-end, like Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs. Same exact thing. It's one less thing to worry about.
I guess maybe it's more okay the way Mantzoukas does it because it's like such a generic outfit that you wouldn't even notice. But Cornel West, it's so specific, and I don't see other people wearing that specific look.
It's a suit and tie.
Specific? It's
The collar of it and just the look of it is different. It's like a specific cut of suit that I only associate with him. Like, there's no way you only associate white button-down shirts with Jason Mantzoukas because you see a million people wearing them. You know what I mean? Right. So it's fine. It blends. But Cornel stands out. It's like Ronald McDonald. It's just too specific.
I'm trying to go with the bit, honestly, but all I see is a regular suit. A dude
when I used to see him on like Bill Maher 10 years ago, he'd appear every time. I noticed it then.
It's this thing?
Yes.
It's a scarf, it looks like.
No, it's like the collar of it and the collar of the white shirt is it's all it's just too specific. It's weird. Is there a picture when he was younger and he was in like a t-shirt once? Something. Has he always looked like this?
I think he's cool as shit, man. He ain't gonna win, but look at that.
I think he's someone who used to be cool and now is extremely corny. Like his politics are cool, but the way he talks and the way he presents himself is, I find, extremely
I'm okay with
corny.
that. It's corny,
he's like
but in a
cool
good way.
Uncle who is not cool anymore.
But he's saying the right things, though. I think that's what's important.
For the most part.
What did he say that was wrong?
I don't nothing recent that I can think of, but I just remember watching him on TV and he'd say like 99% right things, and then there'd be like one fragment of he's maybe is insane.
I mean, 99% right is better than what you're gonna get with anybody that's gonna win.
Well, fair.
99.
But yeah, that's the thing. He's not gonna win.
Okay,
and will there be debates?
I think we're in such no, that's another problem. But I think we're in such a shit place that the first step is for someone outside of these two parties to get like 7 to 10%, just so that they'll have enough leverage that these parties will have to come begging them and giving them concessions. That's the first step to get big enough just to do that.
Sure, I don't think he's the guy to do that, though.
I think you never know. The point is, like, people are so fucked up in this country. Like, once they hear, like Bernie Sanders, look at him. What does he look like? He looks like a fucking troll doll. It doesn't matter. Like, once you start talking about this stuff, you get a groundswell. That's why they're so desperate to exclude them from debates and everything. But
at least Sanders was already an elected official, so he had that footing and to lend him credibility.
I think being an elected official is a negative. I think Bernie Sanders overcame that rather than that being a selling point. I think the shit he was saying was like, oh, he's a senator, but I'll listen to this guy anyway, is how I think it went.
But I don't think an elected official just means enough people where you're from liked you in the first place to vote you into office, which is what becoming president is, isn't it? It's just proof that you can ever win an election.
But you can't win an election unless you say those things that Cornel West is saying the opposite of. I think you can't win a federal election because they will cheat. Both of the parties will cheat to prevent you from doing that. So I think you just can't do it. So that's why I say you can't even think of winning. Like when you do what he's doing, you can't even think of winning. You have to think of pulling enough people away from both of the parties so that they freak out and start making concessions to you. That's how we got the New Deal. That's how the FDR. You think he was just a nice guy? He's a fucking capitalist. But he said, "Oh my God, I'm gonna lose if I don't like." We had a left back then, an organized left, and they forced him to do all of that shit. And some of that stuff is still here today.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to do. You got to pull people away mainly from the Democrats, honestly, make them shit their pants, because the Republican base likes the shitty things that the Republicans are doing. The Democratic base does not like the shitty things that the Democrats are doing. They just vote for the Democrats because they're 0.07% less bad than the Republicans.
Wait a minute. I think that's a higher percentage than last time you brought this up. So are you Darren's becoming a centrist.
Yes, you're right.
Bit by bit, he's getting closer to the middle.
I'm moving to the right.
He used to be 0.0001. Now there's a 7 in there.
Make it 0.00000000. Now Now I'm wheeling the guillotines out. By the number of zeros that I put in my metaphor.
Yeah.
I do want to mention, Sid, good news I found.
Whoa.
One.
What is that necklace?
It's a harmonica, it looks
Is
like.
it?
Is it? Looks like it has little air holes.
I think this might be a video. Let's see.
Damn. Looks like Morgan Freeman on the Electric.
Oh, wait, no, this is him in The Matrix Reloaded.
Wait, what? He was in The Matrix Reloaded?
No. Stop.
Yeah, this is... Hold on.
Was he? Is that true?
Well, the caption is in The Guardian, so I don't think they would troll you like that, right?
Okay.
Yeah, here he is. He was part of the...
Was he like an extra or something?
Wait, did
Never knew this.
There we go. Do you see this clip? There he is with the God guy, or not the guy. Like this guy was
what?
Friends with the Oracle.
What?
Look, there he is. There he is.
Yeah, a character named Counselor West. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He was in both of the Matrix sequels.
That just means he probably.
Oh, he's on the council. I see. He's on the council of the humans.
So he knew the Wachowskis, and they probably said, "Yeah, we like your politics.
Yeah.
Come be in this movie."
But he was forced to wear a different outfit. He probably
that's
tried to show up for filming in the suit, and they were like, "No, we need you to."
There are no more suits in the Zion. You can't wear the suit.
Do you think the Wachowskis were fans of his, or just were aware of him and were like, "Do you think if we offered him a part in the movie, he'd be willing to wear something else?"
Oh,
and
like
they just put their money where
it was like
mouth
trading places. Like they bet each other $1 whether he would wear a different. He would refuse.
We are willing to put this man in our movie just to find out.
You can always cut it anyway if he sucks. It's not like he has a pivotal role.
And so technically, Rob, that is not Cornel West. That is Counselor West wearing a different outfit. So it doesn't count.
That's literally the only photo of him not in the suit as you described.
Just like when Jason Mantzoukas played Nuclear Nadal, he didn't have that shirt on. He had a real. He actually, that character, I picked the wrong one. He might have been wearing a suit or a white shirt. That movie.
Which character is that?
The Nuclear Nadal. He's in The Dictator. He plays.
That's right.
The guy who designs the nuclear weapons for Sacha Baron Cohen's character. Right. And Sacha Baron Cohen says, "I want this big explosion," and it's like it explodes in the guy's face, and his face turns brown. Like, you're talking about a Daffy Duck cartoon, aren't you?
And I've found a picture of a young Cornel West where he's wearing a suit, but it's not that exact suit.
Yeah, I see that as well. But it's still a suit.
This is from 1994. There's a New Yorker post where it looks like he's just like a regular. Yeah, that one.
So if he wore that suit every day, would you be cool with that?
Slightly more cool with it.
He looks way different from his. You like aged very not badly, but
I think most of it is the hair.
Yeah, it's hard to really tell what he looks like with all that facial hair. Mm-hmm. But he has like a very iconic, specific look. The branding is great. It's just, it still weirds me out. But it's clearly it's branding and it works.
Wow.
Because he's still getting on TV and I don't hear anybody else commenting on this except me. So clearly it has not broken through to the public consciousness that his look is weird.
I'm sorry. Your cultural commentary, I'm with you 99% of the time, but I don't see it. It just looks like a suit to me, bro. Sorry. But I hope he gets lots of voters.
Yeah.
I hope he stirs up some shit, baby. Let's go.
It's hard to when they won't do a debate with you. It's all he's just however much the news channels feel like putting him on. Which
It's just the latest form of cheating. Get used to it. I mean, not telling you that personally. We're just saying, like, figure.
Get used to it, people.
Right.
It's just cheating.
I don't even consider it cheating. They own the entire process, and so it would be weird if they didn't favor themselves. Like, why would they?
It is our only means of influencing the politics that that govern us. So it is cheating. It is preventing us from having a say or hearing the views aired of those people we're potentially going to vote for. So it's cheating. It doesn't matter that them owning it is a form of cheating. The fact that they own it and can make those decisions about their own voting system is cheating. The voting system in the country is supposed to be public. It's ridiculous that we can just accept that. Like, that's just the way it is, folks. It's not supposed to be the way it is. It's supposed to be a democracy. I know that it's not. I'm not naive about it, but it's still
trying
it's a fact.
to make voting more complicated and not less complicated. I think is another form. Like, it's ridiculous. You know, I used to think this was a dumb comparison until I really took it into account. Like, it's so much easier to vote for American Idol than it is to vote for president. You know, which it's like a silly comparison, but why shouldn't you be able to text your vote for a president? You know, your phone is linked to a phone company that has your age in there. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason why the only
people have
reason,
burner phones. I'm sure and it would be very expensive to make that. I'm sure. I bet like at some point there will be something like that. If not nationally, then on the statewide level. Like
they want to ban mail-in voting. They want to stop that. The GOP.
Well, I'm talking about like in a blue like New York. You don't think if New York had the capabilities to have text voting, they wouldn't do it?
No.
Of course they would.
Why?
I don't think.
Why not? They do.
They like to retain.
They don't want people to vote.
To cheat. They like.
There's only like it's always a small minority. There's never even 50% of the population that goes out to vote because it's annoying. It's people don't have the time. If they made it as easy as possible, it would be too much of a vote, and then
it'd be Democratic.
The wrong people would win.
But I'm saying in New York, it's already Democratic. So why would they be against it here? I'm not saying on the national level. I'm saying
so in
for
New York,
statewide elections,
it's Democratic. But I think I agree with you. New York is Democratic, but wouldn't you say we have the most Republican Democrat as our mayor right now?
Yes.
Like our mayor is a Democrat in name only.
But it wouldn't be up to him.
And the last one was a Republican before de Blasio. I mean, and the last one before him was
I'm saying statewide.
That's just an example. But no, all right. I think the people that really have power like the way it is. We're thinking of this in framing like they're fucking this up and they're just outdated. They like the way it is. They like that a tiny minority of people vote because then you only have to control that tiny minority of people. Like, what if what if everybody who might listen to Cornel West, just for one example, or someone even more to the left of him, more radical? What if that person had equal access as Joe Biden does to voters to spread a certain kind of message? Those people would start to get listened to. They would get more of a foothold. They don't fucking want that. No. And the same thing for Republicans. I'm not picking on Democrats. Like, they don't want, like, the establishment of Republicans don't want like extreme Tea Party, like MAGA people to take over their party either.
Deuterino in the chat is asking what we think of ranked choice voting, but I think that's only in primaries. I don't think that they do that in like general elections.
Well, I think he's saying that it should be implemented at the federal level overall.
I'm for it.
It's better than what we have now. I've read some articles about things, people like complaining about certain aspects of it. It's 100 million times better than it is what we have now, though, which is just winner take all. It's just terrible. I would take it as an upgrade.
Yeah. It's not like somebody, well, also like if for like a presidential election, there'd need to be more than 2 candidates. Otherwise, like,
right. Well, that's kind of hard
when
when you
for
don't.
Biden, you're not going to put Trump second. You would just put like literally anyone else second, and same vice versa.
Well, I
So
think that's
what
a
would
big
it
problem with
change?
the presidential election, that there only are 2 choices.
Right. Well, how can there be more than 2 choices if you won't even have a fucking debate?
Yeah.
Speaking of the choices for president, we got another funny little Trump bit this week.
Oh boy!
Thank you to someone in our Discord.
Much of a chance. Much of a chance. Those Italians, I love the Italians. Much of a chance. Those Italians, I love the Italians.
I love the Italians.
Her cat was named Vagina.
That's an Italian word.
Vagine.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
He's becoming more of a parody of himself. I feel like he watched someone do a good impression of him and he's just copying it. They indicted me.
I want to find that. Do we have that audio?
I don't have indicted me. Sorry. I have
Her
this.
cat was named Vagina. And she didn't get indicted.
Here we go.
That wasn't it.
Joe Biden broke
Come
the
on.
law, and in many other ways we're finding out. And so far has not
True.
gotten indicted. I did everything right and they indicted me. But you know,
It's even
That's where
better
you
in
lose me.
context.
That's
It's
where you
even
lose
better in context.
If he would come out and say Joe Biden's a criminal, I'd say, yes, agreed. Then he says, I did everything right. No, you did not do everything right. You are Joe Biden who tweets. That,
And
I mean,
also,
you're
they
the-
waited until you were out of office to indict you. They might do the same with Joe Biden. Who knows if he's
No.
still alive by then?
I can't imagine that. Well, I can't imagine him being still alive when he's out of office,
Yeah.
unless he loses. And this election, there might be a chance at that.
Yeah.
Another 4 years is no way. I mean, he can barely get off a stage, for fuck's sake. I don't even say it like I'm not trying to be an asshole. Honestly, like I despise Joe Biden. This is well established. But I feel it's sort of melancholy to watch him. He's suffering. You know what I mean? Like there's something in my soul that says
It is a little cruel that they're propping him up, even though he absolutely
is.
wants it.
Yeah, of course. he does.
This is how I felt when we finally got to the debate, when we got to Trump versus Biden, and how much more hopped up on pills Trump was than Biden. And I was just like, they had 4 years and this is who they decided on. Because like obviously it wasn't me who decided that Biden should be the nominee. But this is who the powers that be in the Democratic Party were like, no, this is who we're going to pick. This is who's going to carry us through. He did win, but it was just like, I think he won in spite of himself. I think it was more that Trump lost than he won.
I think it has to be just such a perfect storm of like COVID happened at that exact second, and George Floyd happened at that exact second, and Trump botched COVID so badly. But now we're in the same situation. Like Biden basically botched COVID in the exact same ways that Trump did. And some of them even worse, like cutting some of the programs that happened under the fucking Trump administration. How do you hate fucking poor people and minorities more than Donald Trump? Like, that's amazing to me.
Well, I don't know. It was different time periods of the COVID situation. It's not, we weren't in like ground zero of the worst of it without a vaccine. There's context.
Well,
obviously.
I'm leaving the vaccine out of it because that's another hot button issue. But I just mean like the financial programs that were established under COVID that actually did some tiny measly amount of good. And I don't credit Trump for that. He's just the guy that
Well,
was
the
sitting in
economy was like at a complete halt. And then the
Okay.
economy started picking back up. So
we have to
still
cut
poor people.
Yeah, there's still poor people, and
well,
there's
there were
still
always poor
COVID.
people,
Wait,
and
there's
government
still-
never gave a shit about them before. Why would they keep giving a shit about them after they didn't have to?
Agreed.
I understood, but why would they cut programs that Republicans who ostensibly care less about poor people?
Because as I
put
said,
through?
when the Republicans put them in, the economy was at a complete halt. And then the economy picked back up after a little while.
But but they still canceled programs that were existing that were helping people.
Right.
So
and also, so like for those poor people that got their programs cut, do you think they'll ever vote for a Democrat ever again?
they're not going to think of it in the
Yes.
way that you're framing it. I mean, some of them might.
Of
It's
course
not
they
gonna-
will. What are you talking
But
about?
who are they? Do you think they're going
I
to blame
think it
Trump
has
for
a
that, or are they
huge-
going to blame Biden
It has a huge
for
effect.
getting
I
their payments
I
cut?
think most people understand that this is just how it is, and they're
I
not
don't.
blaming any specific person.
I
Because if
think-
it wasn't Biden, it would have been fucking Mayor Pete doing the same
No.
fucking thing.
Well,
I
if it was
don't
Mayor,
think-
then they
hold
blame
on.
Mayor Pete. They would blame that person specifically.
I don't think they blame a specific person. I think you're right. I don't think they walk around, most people, thinking Joe Biden fucked me in the ass. But I do think that they lose their faith in government institutions, and they say, "Well, I turn on the TV. They tell me Republicans hate me." And I believe that that's true, but then I turn around and now Democrats have run everything for the last 2 years. And what the fuck do I have as a benefit of that? Nothing. And that's how people just don't give a shit anymore. It's not that they're going to go, I'm going to vote for Trump because he's better, but they will say, I'm not voting for fucking anybody. Fuck you. You're not doing anything for me. I think that's a massive reason why people don't participate.
Sure.
Agreed.
And we'll see what the voter numbers are next year. And if it's less than 2020 or more or what.
I predict it will be less. I think there will be,
I think it'll be more just because there won't be a raging pandemic happening to keep people from showing up. But it might just go up just because of that and not because of more actual interest.
Right. I do think a lot of people will vote for Trump that did not vote for him last time, because I think there's a lot of fence sitters, who when you're in the middle of Trump being horrible, they're less likely to vote for Trump. And when you're 4 years removed from him being horrible, you might rationalize it and say, oh, he's not that horrible, especially compared to Joe Biden, who's horrible.
I just saw something on the news today about how, at least for like campaign funds, like Biden's raised like twice as much as Trump so far.
Hillary Clinton had twice as much as Trump too.
It's also true. Yeah.
I'm refraining from making too many sweeping predictions, because they thought there was no chance that a 147-year-old corpse would ever win any election, even against Donald Trump, who's miserable.
I mean,
and
Strom
horrible.
Thurmond kept winning elections till the day he died.
That's a local election where he's like a celebrity in his state. I don't. Yeah. It's still the valid point. It's still amazing that he won an election, but it's a state filled with people who think like his racist views.
Fair.
It's not a national election.
Yeah.
So I was shocked that Joe Biden won.
People
that
like
election.
names they recognize. That's really what it is. We know we know the name Joe Biden. It's easier to pronounce than Buttigieg.
But is it easier to pronounce than Donald Trump? That's kind of a tie.
Well, yeah. And all the factors you mentioned before are the reason that Biden ended up pulling ahead.
But those factors are now on Joe Biden as negatives.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm not extremely hopeful that he's going to win next year. I think if it's like a 51% thrash right now, and that's hanging on by a fucking thread, but
truly do not give a shit. I do not give a shit between these two choices. If there was even a marginally better Democratic candidate like Elizabeth Warren, just to pull one person out of my ass, I would maybe care. I do not care. I just think they're two flavors of shit water from Brighton Beach. Two different flavors
for both of them. He loves that flavor.
So you're saying if it was Elizabeth Warren versus Donald Trump, you would vote for Elizabeth?
I wouldn't vote. No, I would not vote. But I would say there would be one maybe that might be slightly less damaging.
But you wouldn't. But then why wouldn't you vote for that?
Because I don't think less damaging is a viable voting strategy. I think you need to withhold your vote for someone who actually speaks to you and offers you something positive and beneficial. I don't think lesser evil voting accomplishes anything. You just allow Democrats to keep getting more and more evil because they know that you will hand your vote over to them. And that's exactly what's happening. You can't get a more evil Democratic candidate than Joe Biden. I mean, he is the skid mark on U.S. history in the last 50 years.
He's deporting more people than Trump did. That's just amazing to me.
He's drilling more than Trump did.
About it.
He raised the military budget more than Trump did. I mean, you name it. Just name it. He's canceling.
Trump.
He's canceling fucking social programs that were established under Trump, and none of this.
But how many of those social programs were not tied to COVID?
I don't know any. They all came during COVID.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He canceled programs that
why
he
is-
himself introduced, like the
Right.
child tax credit.
Right.
Did he say those were permanent?
No, but that doesn't matter. So they're on the books, and now you're taking.
He talked
them
about
away.
how like kids aren't like there was when he passed the child tax credit, which in no way affects me. I have no child that I know of, or
Just common
that I
human
could,
decency.
or just with pure science. I don't think it could have.
All right,
ever
just
happened.
get to.
You
But
can have
anywho-
sex with a woman, Rob. It doesn't mean you're
I'm
not
just
gay
saying I
anymore.
did. I've not completed in a woman in order to have
Oh, I see. I
produced
thought
the
you
child.
meant impossible, even in theory.
In practice, I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
It's,
I got you. I got you.
But the point I'm saying is when he passed that, childhood poverty hit the all-time lowest of low.
For like 2 months.
For the 2 months. It was objectively a great thing for a portion of Americans that absolutely needed it. And then they just pulled it.
Right, the
Like
campaign
for
trail.
no reason. Like, why would you pull it? Why would you put children back into poverty?
Right.
It's just shitty.
Because things need to be shitty. You won't vote for Joe Biden unless things are shitty and they can promise you more things, like the student debt thing that just happened.
But like, would it be better if he never passed that credit in the first place?
Yes, the same thing I say about Obamacare. People say, well, but Obamacare gave X amount of people health care, but it's worse because you conceptualize in your brain that healthcare has been solved. Like people who don't follow politics like rabidly, they say, oh, we have healthcare now. And that like staunches the progress towards having universal healthcare. Then people think the problem is over. And it's not. And that
In a macro, it's worse, but in a micro, for people that actually literally had healthcare that they would not have otherwise had, it's not worse for them.
I don't
in the
think there
moment.
are that many people. I don't think there are maybe possibly any
I
people.
think for a
If
lot
you
of
look
people,
at
healthcare went up. But the one
Premiums are
good
up.
thing about Obamacare that I will say is they got rid of the pre-existing condition, which I think was a very big thing. Where even if you're sure your insurance is now pretty expensive, at least you can get that shit taken care of.
But coverage, this is the thing, is we live in such a twisted world that like coverage does not mean anything. You covered, you have a policy, and you go to the doctor, and you got to pay thousands of dollars anyway. So what is cover? They go out of their way not to fucking cover anything.
Well, what's covered is they're actually charging you tens of thousands of dollars, so you're getting a nice little discount by this wonderful system.
It's a scam.
We're getting.
And you guys
Anyway,
actually pay thousands of dollars to go to the doctor?
I don't because I have good
Yeah.
insurance. But
I absolutely
it's not.
do.
You pay thousands of dollars, Rob?
My deductible is like $4,000 or $3,000 or something, and I clear my deductible every and I pay hundreds of dollars a month for my insurance.
Amazing.
So yes, I do.
Amazing. It's brutal.
So,
and
I
also,
mean, Rob
just,
can afford it.
it just ties you to your employer too. Like you have a shitty job, and a lot of times you can't. It just
well, no, I have
Not you.
the
Rob's his own
marketplace.
damn boss.
I wasn't talking about Rob. I'm just saying.
I have Obamacare. I have essentially Obamacare. It's kind of shitty. What's fucked up too is that there's there's the entry level brands, and then there's like the name brands like United and whatever, and they're $100 or whatever more a month. And what's funny is I called a doctor I was seeing because I was seeing a doctor.
Oh,
paying-
Rob
I
had
was
a
paying.
relationship with the doctor. Very nice.
Okay, relax. I was paying cash and just for a consultation. And when they were like, oh, well, this is, it was for my butt bump. I don't have to be discreet about it. We've talked about my butt bump.
Yeah.
So when they wanted to, suck out the juices, they were like, look, this is going to be a very costly process. It makes way more sense for you to just get on health insurance and have them help cover it. And so when I was debating between the providers, between the entry-level company that I mentioned and then like the high-end names, I didn't understand. Like everything looked virtually the same. the only difference was the name of the insurance company. Like the deductibles were the same, all this stuff, all these numbers were the same. So I called the doctor, and I'm so glad that I did. His assistant answered me. She's the one that handles billing, and she told me, in fact, that from their point of view, it's much easier to deal with the entry level company. They're more willing to work with you, and they agree to more of the required things. So the more expensive insurance, she's telling me, is the worse insurance. You get less coverage with them because they'll deny certain things more frequently than the cheaper insurance. Otherwise, and the best part is they all come from the same pool it's the exact same insurance. It covers the exact same. No person would take one insurance over the other. It's such a scam.
Then all right, that's okay.
Yeah. Because so what I learned is the Marketplace United Healthcare is a cheaper version of, like, if you were to get United through your employer, which would be the actual United. And there's no way, like, I can't go to United Healthcare as a New Yorker and be like, I want your healthcare. I have to go through the New York Marketplace based on the state laws. It's very weird. Anyway, who cares? We're not a fucking insurance podcast. Let's talk about our Spotify picks. Every week we each pick a song, throw it on a playlist called RIP a Livecast Music Break. And I think this is the first time we didn't talk at all about music at all in a while.
Right. Well, there's some
Neil
weeks
not been
when
doing
we,
anything?
I was going to say, that doesn't qualify as talking about music. It's Vince Neil.
We talked about Joan Osborne.
Oh,
That
Oh, that's
counts.
true. That's
Yeah. Just made
We
it
did
by the
it.
skin of our teeth.
So I picked a song from Kvelertak, a song called Skoganger.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I'm not Norwegian. I loved Kvelertak for a very long time. Then their vocalist left. I don't know what happened. I was a big fan of the vocalist, and I kind of was like, I guess I'm done with these guys. But they've been putting out some new singles for a new album that's coming out, and I'm really digging this. It sounds like a lot of, like, this song in particular sounds like AC/DC and The Clash worship. So it's a very interesting mix, and the vocals are in Norwegian, but that kind of adds to the charm for me. It's a very fun song. So I think you will enjoy it, and I'm glad that I'm getting back into these guys because they're one of the best live acts of all time. And full disclosure, we did book them for one of our CMJ showcases. In fact, my favorite CMJ showcase of all time. I have
Is it the one
poster
Shlomo
hanging
went
up.
to?
That is the one that Shlomo went to. Yes.
Nice. Legendary.
Kvelertak, Skeleton Witch, Barn Burner, Turbid North, and Battlecross. And Kvelertak, it was so amazing. I was very drunk, and also like actual like musicians and A&R people showed up to our CMJ showcase. Like the guitarists.
Wait, so you're
of
saying
Kill
the
Switch-
bands playing weren't actual musicians?
I didn't mean it that way, but I mean like the guitarist of Kill Switch Engage. Like I mean like known big name musicians is what I meant to say.
All right.
Like Adam D from Kill Switch Engage, a bunch of A&R people from Roadrunners show up, and it's like, oh, this is the place to be tonight. This is really
Nice.
cool. So I always have a special place in my heart for Kvelertak. That's my pick. Sid, what are you picking?
I was having a discussion in our Discord yesterday with Jander, and at one point we started throwing song links back and forth at each other, and he threw in a link to the song "If the Kids Are United," which is one of the most famous punk songs. In that, there was a long time where every punk show I ever went to, a band covered that song. It's by the band Sham 69. But to honor the fact that I only ever heard it live through covers, I picked the 7 Seconds cover of "If the Kids Are United."
Nice.
It's a good song. Darren?
Durinsky?
I picked the Straubs because I just really love this song. It's called Backside, and it's just basically a noodly kind of instrumental song, but all the very scant lyrics in the song are just kind of childish sexual puns. So if you like that kind of stuff, and I know you do because you listen to RIP a Livecast, check it out. And I like the Straubs a lot. Any of you guys like the Straubs at all?
I don't think
They're more
I've
of
ever-
Familiar.
They're more of a Noah type, like kind of progressive folk rock ish type band from, I guess, the late 60s, early 70s, mid 70s. But I thought maybe Sid might be slightly into them because
I've never heard of them.
But yeah, check them out. Straubs, like strawberries, but no airy.
Oh, okay.
Straubs. I think it's just Straubs, not the Straubs. It's just Straubs. I'm pretty sure.
And I know what you're thinking. You're like, man, this was such a great episode. I wish I had more RIP Livecast. Well, if you really love us and you love all the free content we give you every week, you can always throw us a few bones, 5 bones, in fact, and join our Patreon, patreon.com/RIP Livecast. $5 gets you 2 extra episodes a month. We're now at like 3 or 4 years of bonus episodes. There's tons of stuff in there, tons of really, really funny episodes. And we just today posted a brand new episode in video and audio form. First time a watch along we did in audio form because we are watching the stand-up special. No, it's not HBO. It's not TV. It's Fox Nation.
Hey.
And the special is from acclaimed comedian Rob Schneider. Woke Up in America. He talks a lot about woke culture, about being classically liberal.
And ironically, it's hard to stay awake during his Woke Up in America show.
That's a great point.
It's true.
But we had a lot of fun riffing on this, and it was a lot of fun. And I didn't know if we could make a watch along of a stand-up special work, but we can make anything work, baby. It was very, very funny. Check it out. And the top of the month, we did a listen along of Metallica's Saint Anger for its 20th anniversary. It was mostly as brutal as we remember it.
Not the good, not the 2 O's brutal, the regular spelling.
Yes. And of course, if you want to throw us a few extra bones, $10 a month makes you a top Livecast fan of the week, gets you a shout out at the end of the show. And how should we do the shout outs?
You're Ron Perlman threatening to burn these people's houses down?
Eric, listen to me, motherfucker. You're gonna watch my podcast with Benjamin. You're gonna pay me $10 a month, Dan R, while I sit in my castle. There's a lot of ways to listen to podcasts, Sam I Am.
Go to hell.
You understand me? Why don't you put on Mindy Mayer's kippa, put on some headphones, and karma will find you, Massachusetts. Okay, motherfucker?
Knock this shit off!
And Hugo likes tacos. You know who likes tacos? Patreon, bitch. $10 a month.
Jesus.
Lando Danks, motherfucker. LaCroix, motherfucker. Corey and Scotty H, wonderful people. Doug Pigman, motherfucker. Doug Levson, new motherfucker. And hey, guys, it's Josh, motherfucker. Can we get a Ron Perlman, motherfucker? I said do that soundbite, Darren.
I know, but I have to load.
Oh, it's not working.
You gotta give me some. It's not that it's not working. I have to set it up. I was doing the show, so I didn't have time. You can just play it.
Before I get off this, the motherfucker who said we're going to keep this thing going until people start losing their houses and their apartments. Listen to me, motherfucker. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. Some of it is financial, some of it is karma, and some of it is just figuring out who the fuck said that. And we know who said that. And where he fucking lives. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. You wish that on people. You wish that families starve while you're making $27 fucking million a year for creating nothing. Be careful, motherfucker. Be really careful. Because that's the kind of shit that stirs shit up. Peace out.
Hashtag RIP.
One thing.
Oh, no! No!
Peace out.
Not Ron Perlman.